So India and Trump are at a stalemate. But is there a way out? Can both sides salvage a deal out of this chaos? Before this week, India was hopeful. Indian officials were eyeing a comprehensive deal, something that went beyond tariffs. But new reports say the trade talks have stalled. An Indian trade team was supposed to visit the United States later this month. That is apparently not happening. Trump's negotiator was slated to visit New Delhi in mid-August. That too is not happening. If true, this marks a complete breakdown in talks, and this is on Trump. Unlike other countries, India was seeking a deal. New Delhi ruled out any retaliation, yet look at what Trump did. He called our trade barriers obnoxious. He called our economy dead. And he slapped 25% tariffs on Indian goods. Clearly, this is a bad faith negotiation. Of course, American officials won't admit this. Trump's Treasury Secretary is blaming the Indian side. Let me quote from what he said. India came to the table early. There have been slow rolling things. So I think that the president, the whole trade team, has been frustrated with them. He also spoke about India's trade with Russia. He said India had not been a great global actor. Now imagine the audacity. The US is sponsoring starvation in Gaza. They have carried out almost 530 airstrikes in 6 months. Yet India is the bad actor. We heard from the Indian Commerce Minister yesterday. He did not threaten retaliation, but he promised to protect national interest. So tonight, let's take a closer look at these talks. Where is India willing to make concessions, and what are India's red lines? Let's look at the concessions first. India has already cut tariffs on some US exports like whiskey and motorbikes. The whiskey tariff was cut from 150% to 100%. Motorbike tariff was cut from 50% to 30%. But these moves were aimed at both these moves were aimed at placating Donald Trump. Another concession is on defense. India has upped its military purchases from the US. In fact, this was happening way before Trump. India has bought US weapons worth $20 billion since 2008. Recent deals include jet engines and killer drones. A third concession is on energy. Trump wants India to buy more American gas. Again, India has obliged. The plan is to import 10% of our cooking gas from the United States. Overall, India's energy imports from the US will rise by $10 billion. Broadly speaking, these are India's three concessions: tariff cuts on certain US goods, more defense purchases, and more energy purchases. Which brings us to the red lines. The biggest one is agriculture. Trump wants access to India's agriculture market. He wants to sell soybean and dairy. But this has been a no-go zone. And I'll give you 2 reasons why. Number one, almost half of all Indians work in agriculture. We are self-sufficient in food, but our productivity is not as high as the West. They have better technology and practices. Therefore, their farm products will be cheaper. So imagine if we import farm goods from the US. What will happen? They will eat into India's market, which is why any such concession is political suicide. Farmers are a very powerful voting bloc in India. They could punish the ruling party in upcoming state elections. That is why it's a red line for India. Reason number 2, farm goods are a culturally sensitive issue. In the US, cow feed is very different. It is derived from multiple animal-based items like pig blood, chicken poop, and cat meat. But in India, milk is seen as a sacred symbol, which is why New Delhi is opposed to dairy imports. So agriculture is the first red line for India. The second one is fighter jets. India has reportedly told Donald Trump that we will not buy F-35 jets. Trump was keen to sell this plane to India, but New Delhi has concerns. For starters, we don't have a lot of American aerial platforms, so integrating the F-35 will be tough for us. Secondly, it likely comes with conditions. The US has an unsaid rule. If you buy Russian air defenses, you will not get the F-35. So India, of course, does have Russian air defenses. We bought the S-400 missiles from Russia. Chances are Washington wants India to abandon those systems. Only then will they sell the F-35s. And reports say India has declined this offer. As things stand, there is a vast gulf between India and the United States. Trump wants the Japan template for India. No tariffs on US imports and access to the farm market. But India wants a free trade deal template, lower tariffs on Indian exports and protection for Indian farmers. That's what New Delhi wants. Now, these two positions are irreconcilable. A mature and seasoned leader would understand the context behind India's red lines, but Trump is not that leader. He lacks the temperament and the knowledge. The only way a deal can be struck is if someone makes a concession, a very significant concession. We'll have to wait and see who that will be.